style of Dota, but
Yeah.
they actually played extremely well against Wings the other day, and they beat the TI champions 2-1. I mean, that in of itself kind of makes me a fan of them. So obviously VP's the shoe-in. Everyone's thinking, okay, they're beasts. They're just crushing everyone. I believe they went 4-0 yesterday as well. So obvious favorites. But yeah, between those two, I would say.
We'll see if things pan out that way or not as we get underway here and now. I actually might need to quickly fix a hotkey. I don't know why, but for whatever reason, this ain't working. Okay, I see the reason. We're going to hit this button right there. Bada bing, bada boom. We'll alt tab back into the game, and we're ready to go. And no worries, Draskell, I didn't miss any of the action, as it doesn't look like we're going to have any sort of early skirmish. Some deep, I won't even say deep, some wards have been planted here. Nothing too surprising. OG get their off lane covered a bit with that bottom lane ward. And towards the mid lane here, IGV are going to be providing a little bit of that extra vision to accompany and keep some assistance here for who is going mid lane right now on IGV. Am I missing something
It's
here?
Sakata. He's got the PMS and he's got the Tango pool, so it's Legion mid.
Ah, yes. Okay. There it is. Down here and below. I think I got distracted a bit because I saw burning on Warlock, and that's just not something you see ever, Draskell.
It really isn't. I mean, this is a thing, right? And Winter talked about this yesterday on the panel. Yes, I was actually watching and listening to Winter, which two things, it's crazy. But a lot of the more experienced players typically will transition into support before the cores because it's a harder role to play. And a lot of the time, the experienced players understand the flow of the game just a little bit better than the newer game players. So it makes sense in some ways, even though Burning is a fantastic carry player in his own right. The carry role, in a lot of ways, isn't as difficult as support. So, yeah.
No, I definitely can relate to that because I'm a big support player. As we all know, Draskell with a very high MMR, and sometimes it's just a lot of responsibility that these carry players can't handle. Top lane, we're already getting a little bit of trades back and forth. Disruption Arrow not going to catch the mark because Q is going to play the bodyguard on this one and just kind of intercept it. He'll eat the bulk of the damage, and that's the nice thing with having a pairing partner like Jakiro. I don't know if I would go as far as to say he's the poor man's ogre, but he's that support who can harass. He's got, as you can see right there, liquid fire, and he's pretty damn tanky. He doesn't get the benefit of that ridiculous steroid armor, but he's still a big flying mass,
Yeah, he's extremely tanky. The only difference between him and Ogre is his armor is not nearly that high. But I think Ogre has 8 armor or something. Oh, could be in trouble here.
Yeah, no block coming out for Q, even though he's happy to take the block. And a double crush, though, will come out, but is it going to be enough? The right clicks continue from Little Jerix, but it's not going to be good enough. The pressure really is on here by OG in the top lane.
It's important to note, though, that because of the fact that both these supports are stuck here, making sure that No-Tail can farm, if Jerax or Fly were to ever leave, they can't stack. They can't rotate to mid. So it's pretty much just a strict 1v1 Ana versus Sakata, and right now the Legion's actually winning. So if these two 1v1s do well, and we might see you drop here. There we go.
Not going to be good enough. Yep, that Lucid Beam will come on through, but Jerix gets the last little right click in, and it will earn him the nod. Bottom lane, they're making a move on S4. The Clockwork here, he's trying to create some space and maybe get off of Cogs if necessary. It's not going to be necessary, as he is able to inch his way out. So our first blood is going to be going to OG, and of all the people to pick it up, we don't recently see a whole lot of that roaming support Mirana, not as much as when you want to really piss off a mid laner in a pub, but I don't know, would you agree that it's kind of similar to how we see the recent support Pudge, where you need to make sure you're getting a lot done in the early game, otherwise you kind of start to feel a bit irrelevant?
I don't think it's like Pudge, because if Mirana's just involved in kills, sure, you want to hit your arrows. There's no question there. But even if you're not hitting arrows and you get your arcane boots, you can just farm an Aghanims. And then as soon as you have Aghanims, you do a ridiculous amount of damage, and you don't have to kill yourself to do that damage, right?
That's
so
true.
I think Pudge, he's very much so reliant on landing hooks, where Mirana has a transition if she's not doing extremely well. But, I mean, Jerax is a great player, so I have a feeling he'll hit some arrows.
Lots of flirting here still in that top lane. Q a little bit off the mark and catching that dual breath. But even if he did, the follow-up is not really there. It's just kind of them holding on to any sort of relevant dominance, rather, if possible. But the struggle does continue here a bit for in July's. He's not able to kind of creep close enough to this wave. He's got 10 CS to his name, but over on the other side, No Tail's still sporting like a nice 17 CS. Let's quickly touch base elsewhere. I said that, but as I left, I heard a disruption go out. Looks like no arrow follow-up will be had for in July, and the harassment will just continue.
Yeah, I mean, they are keeping the supports very busy on the side of IGV, but Fly's already level 3, and Jerax isn't too far off. So it's not like they're... The core is under-leveled, but the supports are not. So No Tail is actually the one that's going to be suffering, I think, in this kind of position the most, because Luna's just not that self-sufficient. An arrow comes in.
And with it, a Lucid Beam. And we see the back end of it, but that is going to be Slardar going down. And OG pulling ahead now 2-0, really punishing this significantly feeling heavy-handed top lane right now. But they're looking to make up for it. Elsewhere is IGV. The mid lane still very back and forth. 25 for Legion Commander, 23 for the Timbersaw. And, well, if Jerax has anything to say, he might give a little bit of influence to kind of wave it one side or the other, but he's actually currently on a hunt. I don't know if he saw that ward go down. I guess that answers it, Draskell. He did see that
certainly
ward go down, and that's a free money, free XP for him. Or just
I mean, even
money,
if you don't see him actually place it, the way that Q is facing kind of indicates that there would be a ward there, so...
It's that slow turn rate. Poor Jakiro. If he was there and had a fast turn rate, he could have dropped the ward and turned his 2 heads away, and they would have never known, but it takes a day to get that ward down and then look away from it. It's a real bummer for Q, but yeah, that sucks. You know, he's trying to make sure that at least he'll have a blanket of vision to prevent people from coming into that top lane, but not even that is going to be provided. So this is a little bit of a tough start for IGV, but they still got Paparazzi here in the bottom lane, Draskell. We haven't really been able to talk about him too much. When I was first studying IGV a while back, I learned a bit about Paparazzi. You know, he's a 9K MMR club member. We got to remember that, Draskell. He's got his jacket, if you will. And, you know, he definitely can play the game. It's just he hasn't really had the success to be, you know, in the spotlight like a lot of other 9K players.
I mean, the guy's playing Lifestealer. That hero's like... Don't get me wrong, it's good in this game, but I don't know. I think a lot of it has to do with the team that builds around you, right? Because a lot of the mid players are the ones who get all the praise, and you know, they're 9K MMR gods, Invoker players, blah blah blah. But it's really hard to shine on a core role because you are so reliant on your team. And in those games where you make the clutch play, it feels great. And speaking of dying, Q here.
Yeah, S4 has been able to cog down Q, and Arrow follows up from Jerax, and it leads to an easy pick, 3-0. OG continue a bit of a little hot streak here at the start. The struggle continues for Q. We know Q, you know, back from his time on CDEC, you know, it wasn't like he was a very unique drafter. They had a formula at TI5 at the time. You know, we saw a lot of aggressive PL, aggressive gyrocopter and such. Q himself would play maybe a Visage from time to time, but never pulled out anything really unique here. So for him to pull out the Jakiro here and now in this particular game, it's, I mean, I was very curious to see what it was going to be able to contribute. Right now, it's feeling a little rough. What are your thoughts already about the influence of Jakiro in this game, or maybe what he can do to try to change things up?
I mean, I think he's been sacked a bit because they sent him to the offlane with in July. The main thing about Jakiro and support is that you need to hit level 7 because you want that level 4 liquid fire and you want it bad. This hero adds a ridiculous amount of pushing potential. It makes the tower killing itself extremely safe as well. So you can just go in with like you and another hero. It doesn't even matter who it is. It could be freaking Warlock, for crying out loud. Scan is going to hit here onto in July while he's farming. But yeah, I think the hero's levels are the most important. He doesn't really need a ton of items. Like just a 4 staff will do for him this game. If he's super lucky, maybe he gets a Glimmer Cape or a Yule's. But that's about it. Like the hero really functions as a pushing support. And if you happen to be standing in, you know, Macro Pyre, then you'll do some damage. But he's not a flashy hero.
No, certainly not. Maybe a clutch if you have like the team synergy and you get that Hail Mary of a, well, I don't know, something like a vacuum into Ice Blast macro fire combo, but I would not be looking for too many big Jakiro plays on Noob from UA. That's for sure. Bottom lane here, S4 is trying to hold up his own defensively against this tier 1 tower. It looks like momentum's been shifted by IG to try to pressure this bottom tier 1. OG are already beginning their flank here as we see Jerax hanging out on the sidelines. I don't know if they're going to converge on in, but IG have decided to pull off from the tower a bit. Jerax instead will go for the safe bet, and that's just arrowing down that bird. And we'll be able to secure the extra gold on that one. But You know, OG are kind of forcing IG to continue to search around a bit for where they can get some early game momentum, or at least find the safest bit of farm. And in OG's book, that's a win for them, I would say, for now. Double creep takedown now. Jerix gets both of those big creeps from the camp.
Is being super annoying right now. He's holding on to quite a bit of gold too. Curious to see if he's just going to go the Arcane build. Seems to be the staple. Just Arcane, straight into Aghanims. No fuss, no muss. Yeah, there we go. He's going to pick it up. The thing that we talked about during the beginning of the draft, or when rather the beginning of the game when the draft was finished, is IGV really need to execute with their heroes. And the big things they're waiting for, obviously, in July, maybe getting his Blink Dagger going, the Warlock Golem coming up on Burning, and then trying to use like the Infest combination with Cicada in some way in mid.
Rush in from IG. They really want to make something work here, but Jerix gets a nice connection of an arrow and ruins everything for IG, and Cicada's going to be going down right away. OG giving nothing right now to IG, and they're going to be wanting more as they secure a Q kill and a triple kill for Ana. OG Ana right now saying, this is my new organization, and we're doing pretty well.
Dear God, dude, that was brutal. So he was holding on to the duel because it's a Timbersaw, right? And you don't want to duel too early because sometimes you might not have the damage that was there. So he was waiting, just throwing out auto attacks, and just eats an arrow in the back of the head, just execution style, and then he just ends up dropping the Timber damage. And that's why they decided not to put Mirana mid right there, because if it was another hero that got stunned like that, it probably would have just flat out died. And instead, with OG's team cohesion, they managed to turn around and get a triple kill.
Gotta feel a little concerning now for IG. You can feel their hunger to try to make a play happen, and they get shut down. Paparazzi, Rage TP will be able to make it out just in time because Trouble was en route back at top lane. IGV, that hunger continues as they're diving on in, looking to go for No Tail. He gets off the Eclipse. S4 also jumps in. The Rock, though, comes on top, and it could be good enough. It will get No Tail down, and also will lead to unfortunate demise of both Cicada and the Slardar. They're turning back and around. Good ice paths. Could be good enough to get Ana, but he's able to jump back and away. Jerix steps in, helps clean things up. They should be able to get Q as well. He needed another right click. Will get it done. Here comes Paparazzi now, jumping on in, trying to get a hit on Ana. Not going to be able to grab it. Double kill for Jerix. 4 go down for IG.
Oh my
they could make
God.
it 5, and they will. Ana makes it a full 5-man wipe already. At just about 10 minutes in, it's 11-2 for OG. Another, I don't want to say desperate, but it feels a bit desperate here for IG to make something happen, and it leads to a failure.
My goodness, that like the level of confidence that you need to do what Jerix just did. He walks in, has no leap, eats an auto attack or two to the face from a lifestealer that already has armlet at 11 minutes, and just throws out an arrow and hits it. Like if that arrow misses, Paparazzi walks away. He could potentially even just die. Like there were so many things that could have gone wrong there for him. Another point to note: the Luna got super unlucky, so No Tail pops Eclipse as Burning's Golem goes down. So he hits only 2 beams on Cicada. If a third one hit, he would have actually gotten the kill and dual damage. So even though that was an utter disaster, you still have this opportunity where it could have actually been worse for the side of IGVs. Fortunately for them, they were able to at least get a return kill. Not what they were looking for out of the first rock, to say the least, but they still haven't really hit their stride either. Injuly is still very far away from his blink. He only has 300 gold to his name after having the Iron Talon and the Tranquils up. And Cicada seems to be going straight for what I assume is going to be an armlet, but armlet's not really against like Timbersaw damage and having battery assault and Eclipse in team fights. Armlet's kind of tricky to use because you're basically just relying on it for pure damage. And I don't think that OG are going to be split farming that much if they have a huge lead like this early, because there's free tier 1s to take. Like they can just walk down lanes with their heroes now because of the advantage that they've accumulated for themselves. So it's already tricky enough for IGV, but that last fight just makes it 10 times harder.
Yeah, for sure. It looks like we have a little bit of a sound issue here from Ogiana, so he'll go for a little bit of a reconnect as we get back in. And yeah, I don't want to just echo from what you said, but definitely looking a bit unfortunate here. Cicada trying to build your way towards, as mentioned, the armlet, but as we remember from yesterday, a certain Warriors Gaming Legion commander 1 minute from now would have about 40 dual damage here. As you could just see, that's, I don't know if that's a unfortunate circumstance of the hero or not. Sometimes Legion commander can be the hottest thing on the planet, and sometimes you just kind of go into a bit of a cold streak and you're reaching around trying to find a duel anywhere you can get it, even from a homeless man or something. So they'll see if they can try to start to stack on some dual damage for her. I would imagine that's got to be some sort of importance here because I don't think you want to be banking everything onto this Lifestealer. I could see him eventually get easily guided around by this OG team. You know,
Yeah.
more staffs coming in eventually from someone like S4. We already know Jarek's still be leaping about. Honest Timber Saw, Timber chaining all over the place, and maybe even Fly will probably pick up a 4th staff at some point. But yeah, we'll see, man. It's a challenge for IG.
I think the plan that they had wasn't a bad plan. It's just that it relies on a couple of things going right for them in the early game. Like, they need an early blink on somebody. Otherwise, that kiting potential is going to happen. We saw how Ana was able to stay in the fight at a very low amount of HP just because he knows, look, you don't have any real range damage. You got 3 cores. All of them are melee strength heroes. I'm a Timber Saw. Like, it seems almost like an oversight to not ban that hero if this was the direction that you were going to take. So Ana being given a lot of room by his team. We talked about it during the draft, putting him in a position where he can succeed, and my god, did they ever give him a good hero for this game.
Yeah, I mean, I know Ana has definitely played Timber Saw before, so I don't know if it was something that was potentially off the radar for IGV or not, but nonetheless, if this game continues to go the way it does, I'm sure this is going to be a big lesson learned by them. But for now, OG being able to capitalize on what feels like a more heavy-handed draft, and the farm will continue to grind. Ana earlier picking up that triple kill, already 6-0 on a Timber Saw, one that already loves to be able to snowball out of control. I mean, if you're having this kind of a Timber Saw game where you're 6-0, do you change up your build at all, Draskel? Do you go for the old trusty? I've seen some Timber Saws with this kind of momentum consider stuff like early blink daggers. Could we see that, or do you think Ana's going to keep things like, you know, the old trusty?
He's keeping it simple, man. That's a Bloodstone right there. He's gonna have it very, very soon, actually. He only needs the recipe? Yeah, so he's gonna have it at like 13 minutes, maybe less. The thing about Timber is that when you get a really good start, you kind of just want to keep yourself ahead. Like, Timber's the strongest when he's just insanely tanky. Bloodstone gives you the tankiness, it gives you the mana regen. Blink can sometimes be good if there's synergy on your team with the Blink. The only person that can really do that is S4 on the Clockwork, so like he initiates with Ana if he has a Blink. But if you make yourself less tanky against a team that already has amplified damage, you're putting yourself at risk for giving away the momentum that you've already gained for yourself. So you really want to make sure that you're getting that tankiness so you don't just die.
Yeah. Oh, potential Moonlight Shadow gank. There you want Paparazzi here. Arrow is out. Paparazzi not paying attention.
No way.
He's not looking, so he doesn't hit range, and he dies. I mean, that arrow had been coming a while, but,
he had to,
you know, yeah.
He had to have been looking somewhere else. That's my only thing. Like, if you have some vision down, he could have been looking top at his teammates. He could have been, like, looking anywhere else, because there's no way you get hit by that arrow if you're watching your hero.
Yeah, they had a full team push outside of him happening at the top lane. I thought we might have even had simultaneous ganks happening, but IGV were not able to get the catch on anything it looked like, and I don't know, as you mentioned, maybe Paparazzi was looking that way, but nonetheless it cost him a pretty penny, and IGV are trying to kind of fill that void a little bit by at least taking down this tier 1, but it will come at a little bit of a trade, it would appear. S4 mid lane doing a bit of a push, while bottom lane they're getting a tier 1 themselves.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it happens, you know. You get hit by an arrow that you shouldn't get hit by because you're trying to do something else, and when you're playing at like this level and you're looking all over the place 24/7, sometimes you just you eat one, and that's Dota 2. But yeah, the trade goes down, tier 1 for tier 1. Paparazzi is still actually farming very well, even though he's 0-2, so that he should be able to keep himself relevant in the game, and that's really important, because if he can get that Echo Saber and Desolator, which I assume is probably just going to be the build for him, and they can get some kind of hero on his team with the Blink Dagger, there is comeback potential, because they can kill heroes real fast with that combo.
We'll see if they can get a hold of any of these heroes, though. They certainly have that kill potential now. Burning's got the rock in his pocket, and they have smoked up, and they're going to be looking for an opening here. Creeping towards the mid lane, will Invictus Gaming be able to find the opening they've been hoping for all game long to try to string them back into this? Obviously, OG very hesitant here. Where the hell is IG at? I don't see him in any lanes except for this awkward Lifestealer in the mid lane, so they're in a serious buddy-buddy system over by the Ancient Camp that's currently stacked up, and they'll gladly farm through that quite a bit, but not looking to commit and show themselves in the lanes, and that could probably be a bit frustrating to IG because they want an opening, they want to take a fight, but the fight's not showing itself.
Yeah, the DD on the Legion is big too, with the freshly purchased armlet. That would have been a lot of damage output, and with Amplify, they should have been able to at least get a kill or two. But I mean, the Ancient Stack being farmed here by OG, not going to be contested, not even any vision in the area. OG have done a really nice job of helping No-Tail recover from that lane where he was basically just... He was sharing experience between him and the two supports, which is necessary, but not really what you want. But now he's kind of getting himself back into the true core one, where he's just highest net worth, you know, highest overall experience on a team, I guess, besides a Timber. And everything just seems to be going well for them at this point. There's not really too many wrenches that IGV can throw on their plan unless they execute perfectly. And a lot of that, again, is predicated around that Blink Dagger that is still, you know, 500 gold away.
And even when he's able to get it, you gotta ask the question, is it too little, too late at that point? Will OG just have that one extra item that gives them all that extra life, or normally they would have been able to get that instant dual burst down, and now it would take a little bit of extra muscle power. So we got to see if IG may have missed the mark, or missed at least the window of opportunity to really take advantage of something like a Blink Dagger or not. So OG though, resilient, mid lane, continue to push and pressure as much as possible, try to get this tier 1. They get a macro pyre by Q to try to slow the roll, but it could have put him in a bit of trouble, and it will. They lead in with a purge, they hit him down with a couple of nukes, and the Dragon's going to be made into minced meat. And this should help secure the tier 1 for OG as they continue their hot streak in game 1, 13-2, and already got what looks like near a 7k net worth advantage.
At this point, it is looking really hard because OG can turn around and do Roshan at any point in time. Timbersaw can tank that thing indefinitely. He's just never going to die. You got Luna with the Lunar Blessing to deal bonus damage. They can arrow spam it. I mean, for crying out loud, there's almost an Aghanims on his Mirana, man. He's only like 900 gold away. And it's 17 minutes in. There's got to be something that goes well for IGV in the next couple of minutes, or it seems like it's just going to be kind of a rollover game.
Yeah, I mean, OG's building up a quad core system, if you will, at that point. Jerix is able to kind of get his farming item this early. He'll be able to easily segue into some damage items if he'd like. I mean, could keep the utility style of things nonetheless, but yeah, this is everything you can ask for if you're an OG fan right now. They are feeling pretty green, but we'll see. IG's resilient. We know one of the cornerstones of some of these Chinese Dota teams is they have a really strong set of defense, great high ground defense potentially. I mean, you have the Rock, that works well. You have Jakiro, fantastic high ground defender. I'm reaching here a bit, Draskell, and I don't want to say they're going to be stuck in a high ground defensive situation that early, but it just looks like that's kind of the road we're going down right now.
Yeah, it's not derogatory to say that they ain't doing great, you know? It's a rough game. But there's a Deso up now. They're going to smoke. Okay. It's a fresh blink on In July.
This is it. This is it, Draskell. I feel it. It's IG's time to get back into this game. Let's see if they can do it now. Jump in, crush. Okay, a little bit of a force. Now jump in from S4, and don't even think about it, IG. You're going to get nothing. Turn it back onto Paparazzi now, and they want some Lifestealer blood, and they will certainly get it. Rock will have to come out from IG in July very low. Fatal Bond's doing a little bit of work there on the S4. They can't get the grab on in July yet, and he's going to be able to blink back in a way, but still just losing your Lifestealer. Oh, S4! Get them with the rocket. Well played on that one, and Burning as well. Could be caught out. They get him with the disruption, and they blow him up. It's godlike for Honor right now. Oh my god, there it is, S4 gets also the grab onto Jakiro. It is ridiculous how well they are playing. Oh, IGV can't get anything. They can't get nothing, and OG punish them so bad every time.
I mean, they did get Jerax eventually. So the guy that they originally initiated on ended up dropping to Fatal Bombs, but he ended up killing the Jakiro with like 5% of his health. And then the flare obviously finished him off after Jax was able to go down. But, I mean, S4 was just in the right place at the right time. He got the
jump in, crush, bomb on 2. Still not good enough. The duel's going to be on the Timbersaw. Jumping from S4 to slow him down, plus disruption. No damage going to be rewarded for you. And now the Eclipse as No-Tail casually rolls it on in, almost feeling more like a intimidation factor at that point to just fend off IG. It's going to be good enough. In Moonlight Shadow, they run on back. Good connection with the Ice Path. They're going to try to get that mighty, mighty streak of Ana, but not today. 9-0 and 5 and 15 Bloodstone charges. He's almost got a Lotus Orb too, it would appear, as he has the plate mail and the ring. So, man, if you thought OG was hitting hard before, it's not going to get any easy here, IG. They will be rewarded. No pick-off kills on the defense, but at least they do get to keep their tier 3.
I mean, we're really looking for upsides, and we're saying at least you got to keep your tower.
At least they haven't lost yet.
It's rough, man. Like, with the Lotus Orb being out as well, the biggest potential that they have for killing anybody is amplified damage with the Lifestealer, right? But as soon as that can get dispelled by Lotus, you know, you're not going to kill Ana unless the fight lasts so long where you're throwing out multiple amps. And the unfortunate part is there's so much damage output on OG through Eclipse, through the Timbersaw himself, that you're probably not going to get a chance to cast it more than like 2 times before the fight is already in a position where you need to run away. But, I mean, IGV, they maybe got like 1 or 2 good swings left in them, I think. The towers in the top lane are still standing, the tier 1s. I wouldn't be surprised to see OG just go up there and claim that free gold at some point, and then maybe just go for Roche.
Oh, mid lane Q. It's been a hard game. 0 and 6. Ana sees a support and sees a blood charge. Is he going to go too deep for this one? Doesn't look like it. Just kind of able to pressure and push him back, while IG just split the difference in the top lane for now. Fending him off as much as possible. Now towards the bottom lane where we have Burning. The one-man getting one-man by the other support. That's Jarek. So
that ain't a support, man. Look at his farm. Yeah. He's got Aghanims, Arcanes, and 1,000 gold. Like,
just casually taking down B-God as a Warlock. You know, this is Dota now. We have to accept that. And OG coming down from the bottom tier 2. It was there. Now it's gone. And they're pushing it for the base. Looking to make some quick work of game number 1.
Well, they will be forced to defensively TP at least a hero or 2. I don't know if he's going to get much more help, but I mean, even just the Clockwork TPing back is enough to scare off.
Oh, they want to go on for Clockwork. Jump in bomb. Will this be their chance? Will they get Gustav?
Oh my god, he's got to regen.
He's gone. And
but they got the tower.
They did get the tower. They did. Is he going to go for the hook? He's going to go for the hook. Ready? Lines it up. Does he have the ability to shot? Oh, yes, he does. There we go, S4. Good connection on that. Tries to get up the medallion here. And oh man, Nikolai jumps in to help out, and he jumps into a world of hurt there. They'll take him down, and they're saying, Paparazzi, we're not done with you yet. The chase is on. They slow him down with the chakra. Beautiful connection with the Timber Chain. Man, OG are playing a hell of a good Dota right now. They're connecting with these rockets. For the most part, the Timber Chains are connecting where it matters. Wonderful play by them, and man, IG. I mean, Burning, Q subs, you got TI 5 second place captain, Burning B-God, Paparazzi Night Cam Amar. I was ready for a showdown, but game number 1, we're not seeing it yet. I'm looking forward to IG maybe shaking this one off. All right, I won't count them out yet, Draskell. Let's see if they can hold.
I mean, that illusion is giving them a hell of a hard time. That's a Solar Crest and a Lotus Orb on a Luna Disruption illusion. That's some spooky shit right there. It's only 23 minutes in. Like, they can't even kill the freaking Clockwork. And the Clockwork is actually the hero on the team that the Lifestealer on the Sardar can kill very easily, just because of the fact that, you know, he doesn't have a lot of armor and he's a strength hero, so the Feast does so much damage. But he's got the Solar Crest and the Force Staff up already on an off-lane hero, just because of how much money they've gotten through, you know, killing towers and whatnot. They're not even going for Roche. They're just doing a high ground siege.
Yeah. They slowly pitter-patter around. There's going to be the jump call. They're going to make their move in. At the same time, there is going to be a holding duel onto Timbersaw, but they can't get that kill onto S4 or the Timbersaw. A rock will be dropped, but it's not going to be good enough. 3-2-3 as OG's looking to close this one out and jump back in from Ana. Triple kill, double kill, goddamn quad kill, godlike string. It don't matter. OG win this one convincingly, 25-3. Oh my god, that was a crushing.
That Timbersaw just did way too much. It did way too much. I mean, ever since the first arrow on mid that Jerax threw at Sakata,